who want to. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining this class, for joining the One Consciousness Healing class. And I'm very happy that you're here joining us today. We came with many today. That's wonderful. That's totally lovely. Just to say a couple of things. One of them is that you are not visible on the screen when I'm recording this. So there will just be my face, so to speak. And yeah, you don't have to be concerned with that. There will be a class, and after like half an hour, we will open up for questions, or maybe you want to share something that you really love about this, or something else might occur that you feel like, oh, I need to share this, just coming from within. And so that's a bit how it works here in this class. So we use, and this is to start, we use the books of Joel. And there was a great opportunity here. Acropolis Books send out these free chapters and beautifully made PDFs, and I love to share them with you and use them in this 8-week commitment to dive deep in what it actually says. And so I hope that you join me in that. So you've got the opportunity already to read the first chapter. And there's so much in one chapter. That's what you discover, right? It's amazing what Joel gives us. And so that's what we're using in the next couple of weeks. So every time, say on Tuesday or something before the class, there will be the next presentation of the chapter. But you can already check it out on Acropolis Books website too. So just to be clear, I'm not sponsored by them at all. It is more like we cooperate in terms of being completely open to one another, like to Acropolis Books. Sometimes I give them something, they give me something. It's more like we're trying to find a way to cooperate in a way that's connected to the idea of one consciousness. So far the contact has been really great, and that's why this was also like, oh yeah, I love to join with them in this idea too, and present the chapters as a real gift to you, not coming from me, coming from Joel, coming from the possibility that Acropolis Books has to share this copyrighted piece. So. And that's that part. Another part that I would love to share is this. So it is not just talking about the book, and then it is not just about reading the chapter. And I will start right on the right away with that. And that is in doing this, being on this path, we use the book, in fact, to help us to take time to sit with a line or with an idea and let us ourselves be completely affected by it. It is not just trying to read the book and trying to understand what it says. So in these classes that will follow, we're on a consciousness level, like on a healing consciousness level. And that doesn't mean that you have to do something special. No, it's more like, this is where that is coming from, like coming from my own experience, coming from the light and the love that you are in this moment. You have the opportunity to join me in that. That's a bit the invitation in this class. So the great thing is that we can start by just relaxing, by not doing anything at all. It's like, oh, okay, so we sit back and relax. We're not doing anything. We're not trying to accomplish something here. So in that stillness, in that quietness, in this like together meditation that we actually do, these ideas that come from the book and that we use, that are given in the moment, we use that to even come into a deeper experience of stillness and to a completer experience of oneness, of raising our consciousness even higher than we would have thought possible. Like in this moment, there's so much light and love available by us connecting, like we're together, this one consciousness. We represent that one consciousness in this present moment. And you can feel that, like, oh my God, yes, I actually feel like, oh, it's just like a physical experience of maybe goosebumps, or maybe this or that, or you feel like, oh my God, my center is really opening, or you start to sweat or to breathe, or whatever comes up. We just allow that to be there. And so maybe it's a bit different than you used to. It's like you will get used to it, because it is really helpful to encounter it this way, to deal with it this way, by relaxing, by stepping back, by letting this occur, by resting, by stillness. And at the end of this talk, we will come to that too again, to completely dive into that stillness. So the first chapter that we're going to deal with is this. It's like, ye are the light. So it is chapter 18 from the book Thunder of Silence. And it is like a beautiful start, quite an intense start, to start with this chapter. Ye are the light. So I'll read a little bit of the Bible phrase coming from Matthew 5. And it says this: ye are the light. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. So let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So that's, of course, that's what we take with us. Like, this is all about the glorifying God. So to be the light of the world is that, like, being overwhelmed with the glory of God, being overwhelmed with the love of God, and seeing that as your strength and your power, and like not your power, but the power that is living you. So that is the beauty of this. And so ye are the light. So who is the light? Yes, that's you. You are the light. That is what it is. So if I'm saying, like, who is the light? You can answer to me, it's like, I am the light. I am the light just by being myself, by being free of my human limitations for a moment, to realize that I am the light of this world. Like, I am the light. It is coming through me. It is by me accepting the light that I am. So that has nothing to do with your personality, and it is not about your looks, and it is not about your status, or it is not about how much money you have in the account, or it is not about how successful you were in life. It has nothing to do with that. So Joel talks about this too. It's like the whole realization of this actually comes down to one thing that is not very popular for a human being, and that's basically realizing that you're nothingness, that you as a human being in this human frame of reference, that you actually are nothingness. So there is something that is of value, that is connected to you, that is part of you, that is your real you, so to speak. So this human frame of reference, your human associations, your human ideas about yourself and about what everything is, actually you come to know that has no meaning, and that you not need it for your happiness, and that you are not holding on to that if you want to have a different experience of yourself. So Joel says it this way, and I'll read that to you. A human being cannot do this of himself, because a human being, to a human being, the word of God is foolishness. He has no time for it, no patience for it, and sometimes it can even offend him. But if he is touched with just enough grace to compel him to keep reading, hearing the word, or meditating, then he will be led to this ultimate demonstration. When we are in the Spirit, or when it is in us, consciously present, there are not two powers functioning. There's only one power doing something to another power. There's not one power doing something to another power. There's no power of God's destroying evil, making evil people good, or overcoming lack with abundance. So, and then he defines it, like he puts it into one statement, which is really great too. It's like, we become the light of the world as we bring ourselves to a state of consciousness in which we do not battle the errors of the world, but in which we become completely still and let the Spirit of God nullify and dissolve the pictures of sense. So we become the light of the world as we bring ourselves to a state of consciousness in which we do not battle the errors of the world, but in which we become completely still and let the Spirit of God nullify and dissolve the pictures of sense. Okay, so that doesn't sound too easy, does it? You cannot do that by yourself. So Joel gives the instruction of relax, rest, just meditate, read the book, read the books, or read the chapter that we have for this week, or be still. Instead of reacting, you're going to be still and be a beholder, like you're going to take a look what is actually occurring. Yeah. I thought I had to participate in this world directly by responding to somebody who's saying something to me, and now it's like, no, I actually step back out of it. I have to learn to just take a moment, breathe before I respond, or pause before I get into action. Just to know that it's coming from within that I'm responding, and not as an emotional response to something. So, and this is not something you learn in one day. So it is like, okay, you're on this path. This is occurring to you. You are actually in a training program. On one hand, you got something, like something has touched you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this class, or you wouldn't be listening to this. So it's like something has touched you, something that has nothing to do with this world or with your ideas about yourself. But you were literally called in that sense. So, and at the same time, you see that your daily life, your daily activities, and the way that you deal with the world is a whole different chapter, so to speak. You become more and more aware that you're actually a dreamer, like it is a dream state. It is a reflection of what you are thinking, and not anything else. It has no continuity. It has no real structure at all. So, but that what touched you, that what's really, touched you, was something that was totally powerful, that felt so complete and so gave you such a homey feeling that you knew it was your true nature. So that always is like the great thing on this path. It's like you come in touch with something that is so subtle and so personal and so quiet that you hardly can believe that is it. But it is. And literally, it is talking to you. It's speaking to you, like the voice is speaking to you without any stop. It is always there. It is your presence. Okay, so I'm bringing back some new ideas from Joel. Just not to dive too deep directly into this, what I'm sharing with you. Okay, so when we have been touched by the Spirit, it is evident in the light shining forth from our eyes and the glow on our face. So, did you look recently at the mirror, and did you see that something is changing in you, that something changed in you? Maybe you saw it already some time ago. Like, hey, something really shifted. The way that I see now is different. And the way that I look now is different too. Like my face starts to shine more, or I'm smiling more often, or like, yeah, something really good has come over me. And not by my own doing, but no, it's literally given me. Our human relationships change, our nature change, our health changes, and sometimes even our physical form changes. But only because such changes are outer manifestations of an inner glory, an inner light, which has been attained by contact with the Father within, and which has once again established us in Eden. Wow, that is great. So outwardly, our life changes too. It's not that we do this, like we're not on this path to change our outer world because, hey, that's just a reflection of where we find ourselves in our consciousness. But it is nice to see that there's more harmony, or there's more rest, more you got more rested yourself too. Like you're not, maybe you discover that you start to really become actually happy with yourself. Maybe you start to love yourself more than ever. So that's a really beautiful start of that, or continuation of that. So basically, this path helps you to become constructive, not by your own doing, but something is working on you. Something is helping you to grow and to become literally this light in this world. So that's what I love about this path, and what is my own experience in the time that I've been doing this, and that suddenly there was a change, and I see that after that I haven't been the same anymore. So yeah, my physicality changed too. I gained like 10 pounds or something. Like, wow, that was a quick change. I always had the same weight and suddenly I'm heavier. I didn't expect that to happen at all. So you never know. Some people just lose weight doing this, but I gained some. It's all fine, it's all fine. It feels really good because it's like, yeah, being on this path and dedicating myself to this, I accept anything that occurs. I accept what is happening in my life, whatever changes are happening. I see it as, okay, that is going to be constructive because it's not really coming from me at all. So it's given me on a moment by moment, on a day by day basis. So yeah, don't forget to relax and to breathe and to rest and to, even in this moment too. So we're not doing anything. That what is given you in this moment is going to affect you anyway. So it can be good to sigh and to breathe a little bit. It's like, yeah, because you're this energetic entity, if you want. So you're your energy, So breathing can be good. Just moving around a little bit, maybe stretching your arms a little bit, or whatever is helpful to you. Relax your jaws, or relax your neck a bit more. So then there's even more open body to receive all that's given. All right. Well, see what I got on my little paper here. Oh yeah, rising above. Oh, I'll read that to you. Well, I read it already to you too. Let me see. Somebody wants to get in still. To us, it is given to understand how to rise above the battle between good and evil, to know how to still the storm, whether at sea or on land, whether whether a burning fire or an incoming tidal wave, or infection and contagion ravaging the land. To us it is given to know how to say thus far and no farther, and then to stand still and retire ourselves from the noise of the battle without refuting, denying, or fighting, without ever wielding the sword. It is given to us to know that he who lives by the sword shall be, who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. And therefore we have put up our sword and will never again take out either a physical or a mental sword, not even a spiritual sword. In reality, there's no power for us to oppose physically, mentally, or spiritually, so we need no sword. So I want to bring that into like a perspective, and that is, it's like basically what is being asked of you is to become vulnerable. Like you're not going to defend yourself anymore. You're going to be vulnerable, and not vulnerable in a way that you just let everyone run over you, so to speak. That's not what I'm saying. But it will not be you attacking. You will become very much aware that you are the one who can stop that by not attacking, by not responding with an attack thought, but just by accepting, embracing, by waiting, just by being patient, by not responding immediately, but maybe count to 10 or however you do that. And it is unbelievable that by these little things, by our little efforts that we do, like sitting still for 5 minutes a day, or maybe every hour 2 minutes, or every time that you see a traffic light, you think, oh God, just to remember that you're not separate from God at all. See, these little practices that we have or that we can develop is all that is needed. Like there's not so much more needed for a big change to occur into your life. And that's why this is actually very easy in what's being asked of you. See, the thing is that you, by staying in this practice, will go through all the things that you need to go through. And that can be hard at times, but it's like you got great support. So this practice for you is just to stay in your awareness that there is more to life than what you thought, that this human dream that you have been dreaming is not what life is. So by doing this practice every day, you have your reminder. It's like, oh right, yes, of course, here we are. Presence is with me, like I am with you all the time. I will never leave you nor forsake you, is what Jesus said. And that is a reality. By you asking for that, by you practicing this, it will be shown to you that is taking place. So that's absolutely fantastic and very helpful and very practical. All right, so we're doing pretty good. I hope you're doing okay too. Oh yeah, and then we have this idea of transparency. Okay, so here we go. Our purpose is to be the transparency through which the light, not we, but the light, performs its mighty works. to be the instrument through which the divine can manifest and express itself on earth as it does in heaven. We are never the doer. We are never the actor. We're always the vacuum through which spirit flows. Let us never forget for a moment, believe that by our spiritual endowments, we will ever attain personal or spiritual power. So if that is your goal, you better look for something else, because this is not going to give you that. There's no room in spiritual living for egotism or for exercise of personal power. There's no room for that. God does not give his power to another. God does not give his glory to another. The power, the glory, and the dominion always remain in God. And we are but instruments, humble servants and transparencies, through which that light may shine. So the idea of becoming a transparency, of being a transparency, is quite an exercise, is quite something. Because basically, what you do in your mind, especially as a human being, is resisting. So that means, like, if something comes up, you actually want to have control over it. And that can be your thoughts, you know, you want to control your thoughts. You want to, like, no, I don't want to think about that. No, that's too low for me to think about that. Or that's too, it's too aggressive to think like that. And so to be a transparency is a whole different thing. Then it is like, no, everything is allowed to come up. It's not of your control. And okay, what comes up can be very different. There can be murderous thoughts, and there can be this and that. So the only thing that is different then for you is that you're not going to act out on what you are thinking. But you, just as you practice that in your meditation, you let these thoughts come up and let them pass by. You're not going to engage in them. And we can practice that right now. You know, it's like, just relax, see what you're thinking. Maybe close your eyes and it's like, oh, look at that. Oh my God, this is what I'm thinking. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I'm letting it come up. I'm not resisting it. So there's an opportunity for me to be free of the control over it. Because what happens if I try to control the thoughts that I'm thinking? I'm basically, suppressing it. So what will come back? I'm not getting rid of it. And in the process that we're in, it would be great if you would just let the thought come up and let it, flow by like the clouds in the sky. Like, oh, right, that's that thought. Wow, that's interesting that I'm thinking that. That's unbelievable. I'm thinking that. Look at that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. What is all this? Like, no, it has no source. These are just thoughts coming up. And they're okay to be there. Don't fight them. Don't resist evil in that sense. It's not that evil. It's only evil by your own judgment. But it's coming up. Okay, there are the thoughts. So there's no good and bad in it. That's basically what I'm saying. So to become a transparency, you allow that to happen to you, to sit still, check your thoughts, check what you're thinking. Give yourself, for instance, the opportunity of trying to solve a problem and come up with like 10 or 15 different solutions to the problem that you're perceiving. And you will see that there's no wisdom in them at all. They're opposing each other. It's one big chaos, basically. So being that transparency is letting all these things come up, not doing anything with it, so that your mind will be spacious, literally to receive the light and to be completely open to extend the love that you are. Not that you're doing that. No, it's flowing right through you. Just like I have no idea what I'm saying. I completely trust what is going on and what I'm expressing. And that reliance is something that is going to grow by you using it, by you experimenting with it, by you becoming aware that your thoughts are meaningless and that they can just flow through, that there is no such thing as good and bad or a time continuity. So I know that I share a lot of things right now. So this will come back in the next couple of classes too. It is just more like, okay, I want to touch on a couple of things. And maybe I'm already using too many subjects in this moment. But basically it is also, and that is how you can use this class. Is like, don't make any notes or anything like that. That's not going to help you. I'm referring back to the wisdom that's already present in you. So I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. And that's why you don't have to take notes. It's like this is directly and also an exercise in what you need to know will be given in the right time, in the right moment. So that doesn't need to be under your control either. And it works a lot better and faster. So that's really nice too. So basically it's an invitation. What I'm doing here, not that I'm doing anything, but being present here is nothing but an invitation to you to join me in the light that is present here right now. And you don't need to do anything with that. Just being willing, you only have to be willing to do that. And allowing yourself to go through this process of what you could call purification, like getting out of out of a conflict, basically, and a conflict between who's in control. Is it God? Is it you? Like, no, you're not in control. You're in the back seat. You have a driver. You don't need to drive yourself. You're on this train and it's going pretty fast. And you're not the one driving. So it's like you're already on that train. So you might as well just enjoy the ride. You know, it's like, enjoy the ride. That's where the fun is. So you need to be quite adventurous for this path and for this, what we're doing here. It's like you need to be adventurous because you want to discover something new. You know the human, frame of reference. You know how it is to be a human being. And that's why you're here. Not that you want to become a better human being. No, you discover that actually there has to be something else. It has to be something that is not human related, but has to do with my true being, with my soul. So that is the invitation in this class, always, in every meeting that I do with you. That is the invitation. I love to join with you in the light that you are, that we share together. That has nothing to do with anyone, except we're a complete part of it. So yeah, that's so great. I'm so happy that you join me in this, that you're here present with me, and that you participate in this course. So it's important to realize I'm not telling you anything you don't know. If you feel what I say, you know that this is part of you. I'm just saying these words because you invited me to share this with you. All right. So, and then we come to the part where we relax in this moment. We come into the presence, we practice the presence. That's what we do in the infinite way. We practice the presence. And there's an opportunity for you to come into this present moment, to be completely present here, right now, free of time, free of your ideas, with completely open hands unto your Father, like with completely open hands, to be receptive for what's been given in this moment. And this present moment, we will get back to that more and more, is also a moment of fulfillment, of completeness. There's no separation connected to it. There's only perfection. Joel says it in what I read. It's like you're being brought back to Eden. Like there was no time in Eden. There was no opposite in Eden. So there's a continuity that's called love, but not time. So it is basically, we have an opportunity to enter together a place that is not place, but it's like you have an opportunity to come out of time, to literally enter into a different dimension altogether. And that is not difficult, and that is not like spectacular. No, it is your true nature. It is what is being given in this moment. And that does a lot with you. It's like what Joel said in the beginning too. It's like it's bringing back your health, and it's like it's remembering your body about your perfection, also about perfect cells, perfect body. And it has to do with your relationship, and it has to do with your finances. Basically, it has to do with all your relationships with every aspect of creation. Because in the moment that we are present and that we're practicing this present, you actually feel a connectedness, a joining. Like you literally come into the idea of one consciousness, of one healing consciousness with nothing but as a goal to be itself, to be complete in itself. So in the next couple of classes, we will definitely come back to that, because this is like, this is inevitable if you practice this. So there will be more practical, hands-on ideas or exercises that are going to be given. Just like we did now, this meditation, kind of relaxing, sitting back, not doing anything, waiting before you respond. So these are just practical things that are helping you to come into the realization of your true nature. And that is what you want, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we'll see if I have still some time left to speak, because I can, of course, continue if I want. So we got a couple more minutes. Let me see. Okay, so I will start. I wrote this on the website too, and it is a part that I partially read this already to you, but I'll continue doing this until the end of it. We become the light of the world as we bring ourselves to a state of consciousness in which we do not battle the errors of the world. So give up, just give up. That's the attitude, like we give up the battle. Just for this moment, just in this meditation, just right now, just give up, just give up the battle of the world, of the errors of the world. And we become completely still and let the Spirit of God nullify and dissolve the pictures of sense, the pictures that you saw today or a minute ago or an hour ago. No longer will we struggle with error, but rest and relax and bear witness to God functioning on earth as it is as in heaven. Above all, we will never forget that we are the 12 or the 70 or the 200. We are the light in our community. We are that one, even if there is not another, who will not succumb to the mesmerism of fear, doubt, hate, envy, jealousy, or malice. We are that one who will be a rock in our community, a rock of silence, welling up within ourselves as peace, and letting that peace descend upon our community. Wow, that's so great. So I want to thank you for being present here with me in this class. Thank you so much for being here. And next week we continue with a different chapter, and you can already download it on the Acropolis Books website, or you can go to ebhub.com. If you have any questions or you want to ask something, like send me an email at iwihub@gmail.com. Thank you so much.